Steel bottle, steel bottle. The boss said steel bottle, steel bottle. Oh yeah! Steel bottle, steel bottle. The boss said steel bottle, steel bottle. Ben
Beat Rob, Jim, Packaging King.
Steel bottle, steel bottle.
The Caesar on the court to get another ring.
Steel bottle, steel bottle.
Everybody in the chat now sing.
Steel bottle, steel bottle. Steel bottle, steel bottle. The boss said steel bottle, steel bottle. Oh yeah! Shut your ass up,
Your daddy's always halfway there.
What up? What up? It's me, Jay King from The Athletic, here with Brian Robb from MassLive.com. We are coming to you on, what is this, Monday, October 13th. Celtics had practice today, day after the third preseason game, and Joe Mazzulla wants chaotic structure. That is the new term that he has placed on the style that he wants the Celtics to adapt. Chaotic structure. Which seems about right. He wants them to be energetic. He wants them to play hard as hell. And he wants them to do it without losing form, without losing structure. B-Rob, what do you think is this chaotic structure? What have you seen from these first three preseason games? How have they sort of adopted this new style and made it their own?
Yeah, it's listen, it's going great against the JV teams across the NBA right now. Chaos works against.
Does any starter play in preseason anymore besides Celtic starters? I saw that question in the chat. It really seems like nobody plays. I saw Cooper Flagg highlights, so I know he's played it.
Right. There's been a few. I feel like the Warriors seems to be playing a bunch of their guys.
Wembanyama's played.
Wemby's played. But certainly teams are not ready for the Celtics chaos. They do not want to play against a hard-playing Joe Mazzulla team in the preseason. So maybe this is a sign of things to come. But by and large, I think it makes sense to go this route for Joe. Like he's the sort of guy I feel like that can kind of get this type of buy-in out of his players. And we're already seeing him to try to hold him accountable on the rebounding front with just his quick subs that you covered well in last night's pod. But just the fact of the matter is you have a bunch of young guys that are scrapping, that are looking for opportunity in the league right now. Like this is something you have the liberty to do, I feel like, with this group. And so it'll be fascinating to see, Jay, like whether this translates to the regular season and how much so with like the starters, with the quick hook and things like that. But as far as going up and down across the board with the front court and the wing rotation after Jalen and Hauser, like, why not? Why not go with chaos?
Yeah. And I thought it was pretty telling, and who knows exactly how telling it is, but it felt telling that in what was basically a dress rehearsal with Jordan Walsh, the only guy who's in the mix to be a regular out, that they went like 12 or 13 deep and just played a ton of guys and played quick stints with guys. Joe was yanking guys out left and right. And I don't know if he'll do that during the regular season. That's not something you typically see NBA coaches do during the regular season. But I do think he's trying to let them know, like, if you're not going to do every single thing that I ask of you, then you can come right out, because we've got other guys who are going to play hard and figure it out. We've got Packard coming to us.
International Packard.
Live from England. Cheerio.
You at the pub for a pint?
We've been at the pub for many a pint. How you lads doing?
Doing great. What part
I'm here
of
to talk
England
about
are you
Josh
in?
Minot. Josh Minot's going to be the fucking star of this team.
Was that like a half English accent? What were you going for there?
That's
I
a
was going for a
6 years
British
deep
accent, I
accent.
believe, is what I was trying to go for. Can we just talk about how good Josh Minot's going to be?
Josh Minot would be a good. I thought Jalen said it perfect today. He's like, we could have used this guy for years.
Yeah.
We could have used a guy like this for a while now.
He's the most athletic big they've had in 3 years.
Is he a big
Easily.
Big-ish.
wing? Big wing. Big wing. We'll go big
Big
wing.
wing. Biggest wing. Big wing.
You're like, is he more athletic like Minot or like Rob Williams? Like who's
Rob Williams was more athletic. But Rob Williams was like the most athletic man alive.
right? I mean, that's a separate, a special.
But
category.
Minot's a freak.
Right. He's close. He's close to that. Certainly the closest, like in the last 10, 15 years. Could he?
Wendell Moore has to go up there among the freaks as well after the dunk that he had.
That's going to get him in the two-way conversation. With Minot, I'm fascinated to see. It doesn't look like he's going to start, but Packer, do you see him as like a potential wild card, like closing time guy, depending on the night? Like what? Like
I have no fucking idea what Joe Mazzulla is going to do with this big man rotation. Like, I think he could do. Like, I was kind of surprised Boucher was starting in that game. I think there's going to be completely changed. Apparently, he's taking guys out for not defensive rebounding. Like, it's going to be complete nonsense game to game. And we're going to scream and yell about it all season long. And I'm telling you, I'm a Minot man right now. I'm going to be in his corner. I'm not backing out of that. I'm a pro Minot guy.
Yeah, you're going to be the Minot guy. I don't think any of us asked him about Nemi in the press conference last night. That press conference kind of went off the rails right away. And Joe
Yeah, yelling at you guys about having an armrest on your new chairs.
Yeah, he wasn't pleased that we had armrests on our chairs. They're nice though. I like the armrests. I like having a place to just relax a little before the game. Especially last night, we were waiting for him for like 15 minutes, so the armrest came in handy. But yeah, so I don't think anyone asked what the deal was with Nemi, because Nemi went from presumed possible starter to coming off the bench for a 7-minute stint in the second quarter, and that's it. Was that because, like, I don't know. I don't know whether they just want to see other guys with, like, the new guys, give those guys more run, whether they vaulted those guys ahead of Nemi. I don't know what the deal is. I don't know if Joe Mazzulla knows what the deal is, because I think that front court is really, really up in the air right now and could be on a day-to-day basis. And guys will just have to adjust with just new rotations, new types of minutes, new opportunities.
Give me your big man power rankings right now. Boucher, number one.
Yeah, I guess Boucher won. Just based on preseason performance, Boucher won. Like Garza 2.
Can you play Boucher at center? Can you actually play him at center and like get away with it, especially with how small they're going to be the rest of the roster? Like, he is a thin man, like just an extremely slender man, and they're playing Joel Embiid on opening night.
Could be a problem. Could be
then
an issue.
They go
there.
and play against Karl Towns. Then they go and play against
JoJo.
Detroit.
Joel.
I guess Detroit will be okay, but but it's like there's just, it's hard to get away with having a 6'7" skinny ass center in the NBA, especially when you don't have size everywhere around him. I think he'd be best off at power forward, but I also know that there's going to be a priority to get other guys on the court, and that the playing two bigs might not be something that Joe Mazzulla wants to do all the time, because he just thinks the better players are on the perimeter, which they probably are.
Yeah, I mean, if they're going to embrace chaos, then Boucher is like, I think you have to at least look at that lineup. You know, may not certainly have to start games, but like that, like him and Minot at like the 4 and the 5.
Those two are going to be chaos agents coming off the bench, I feel like, where it's just like we need absolute energy from these two guys, and we're just going to sacrifice all defensive bigness just to have like a bunch of athletic dudes at the 4 and the 5.
Right. So
I've liked when they've brought like all the athletic wings in together and just like throw Minot and Ugo, especially Minot and Ugo. Those guys are just like, they're chaos agents. and it's pretty impressive that Ugo is a chaos agent at 19 years old. You see, like a lot of first round picks, not many of them are there because of like their tenacity and their grit and their willingness to like fight around screens, but Ugo does that shit. And he's done it from the start, and I think he's bought into like being whatever role they're going to give him. And at this stage, I don't think you lose a lot if you play Ugo some minutes every night. I could end up being really wrong, and then you get into a real game against real NBA players, and Ugo's overmatched. But now,
you gotta find out if you play Ugo.
Yeah.
All right, boys. I want to go back to drinking pints, so I'm gonna leave you guys. I just wanted to stop in from jolly old England. I'll check in later in the week, but it's appreciate you guys podcasting.
You got to work on your English accent quite a bit. What time is it over in England right now?
10 p.m.
10 p.m.
Gotcha. Been drinking since 11 a.m.
You're in pretty good.
Yeah, I said you're in great shape. Very good shape. Very coherent.
In these beverages, just been drinking Guinness pretty steady. I've been to 35 different pubs over the past 3 days.
Actually, 35.
What is it, like 17, 18 pubs? We've been doing a pub crawl, yeah.
Good for you guys. Good for you guys. I went to a Celtics preseason game, though.
Kudos to you, Jay. You haven't been to any Celtics games in your whole life.
Yeah.
All right. Still potable crew. I'm out.
Enjoy England, baby.
Yeah, Packard coming in big.
What a check-in! What a check-in from Packard.
But that's the hype, though. That's the hype for the new guys right now. I feel like Packard's a Minot man.
He's a Minot man.
He's a Minot man. But yeah, it is when all is said and done, Jay. With like we know it's going to be mixing matching. I'm curious if the chaos is like sustainable. Of like, are they eventually gonna settle on a starting five? Like, or is gonna have to be like a night to night thing just because the matchups obviously are going to call for it and no one has separated themselves from the pack to that degree in the front court. Like, I'm curious how that actually is going to play out. Like, I have no doubt there's going to be some rotations early on, but then is that just how it's going to be?
I think it'll be how it is, but not because Joe wants it, just because nobody's going to really separate themselves.
Yeah. Right.
And maybe you see otherwise, and maybe it becomes pretty clear early on that whether it's Chris Boucher or Nimi or Tillman or whoever, like just kind of separates themselves. The Celtics just play better with that guy on the court the whole time. But I don't think there's a whole lot of separation between them, like just talent level wise. And they all do different things. Garza is like inside offense. Tillman is just defense with like a more sturdy body. Boucher is just energy, limbs everywhere, hits a three every once in a while, even though his shot is, I don't know how it ever goes in. No clue how it ever goes in. And then Nimi has been anti-hype train during the preseason, I feel like. But I still think he's the best possibility to get like someone who's a plus on both ends of the court. I still think that at the end of the day, like upside, speaking upside only, that Nimi has it and he leads the pack. So I don't know if he'll get to that upside. I don't know if his penchant for making mistakes, not being in the right spot, setting moving screens, whatever, will allow the other guys to get in front of him. But I still think, like, if you told me that one of those guys really, really flourishes and like takes a big step beyond all the other guys, I still think it'd be Nimi. And I'm not betting on that happening in a big way. I think it's like somewhat of a long shot that he hits and really, really hits. But he would be the one that I would bet on if someone does like get head and shoulders above the rest.
Without doubt. I mean, just looking at defensively against a guy like Garza, like Nimi has untapped potential there. Like Garza, I think he kind of is what he is on that end at this point. And for all the intrigue that Boucher brings, like he's 31, 32 years old on a 1-year veteran minimum deal. So like if he's a good fit, I'm sure they'd love to have him back. But from a developmental standpoint, he is also kind of what he is at this point, where Nimi is the wild card in that front. So yeah, it's from that, and just from a matchup standpoint, from a rebounding standpoint, like you need Nimi to step up, and it's early. They're going to look at a lot of different things here, but I'm fascinated to see on Wednesday night just where he kind of falls after being the fourth center off the bench on Sunday, and did he even play in the second half? Like,
no.
Yeah. So was that just tough love in the preseason by Joe? Was that just getting a look at other guys? Or was that like, hey, like
is he dealing with something physically? Again, we didn't ask because press conference went off the rails, and it was just kind of,
we wouldn't have gotten an answer regardless, even if we asked. I don't think a straight answer, but yeah, the minutes on the court will tell the tale there, because I mean, we'll see. I imagine Wednesday will be pretty close to a dry run or dress rehearsal, if you will, for what they're trying to do from a rotation standpoint, because that just based on the past of Joe and how he's handled these kind of games.
Yeah, we'll see, because they kind of already did their dry run a little bit. So we'll see. It's too bad that they haven't played anybody yet, because I do think the style that they're trying to play works so much better against the 14th, 15th, 13th men. Like, it's one thing to try to speed up all the Raptors guards that they were playing, that played great pressure defense, but otherwise just don't have a ton of skill set, don't have a lot of precision, don't have a lot of refinement to their games. But when you get to opening night and you're playing against Tyrese Maxey and Paul George and guys who can actually play basketball, it's going to be tougher to speed them up. It's going to be tougher to force turnovers. It's going to be tougher to put your imprint on the game. So I think the test, they haven't seen a test yet defensively. And I still think the offense is going to be good, like really good. I think nothing that Anthony Simons has done over his 2 preseason games suggests anything other than that he is going to flourish offensively next to the guys in Boston. They are going to get him easier shots. He can make tough shots. He doesn't need to, like, that man can just shoot it. He can fill it up. Always could fill it up. Can he play defense? Maybe not. Celtics are going to try, though. They're going to try to make him play defense. They're going to really, really work on him to get to raise his level defensively. But what have you thought about his first couple of preseason games?
Yeah, there was some, I guess, not jitter. Like, he admitted in Toronto, I think, to reporters up there that it was, a little nervousness coming out of the gate. But I think Sunday night against the Cavs, like, that was as good as you can hope for offensively for himself. Like, he worked well in the flow. I think he created his own shot well from behind a 3-point line. Like, that's the type of stuff that the second unit is going to need. And it's clear that he's, he talked at length just about getting used to that type of role again. He's like, that's the direction they're going in. It seems like Peyton Pritchard's going to start. He's coming off the bench. He's fine with that, and he will get his looks with that group. So the 3-point shot making and the up-tempo offense of him, I think will like fits quite well for him. So it is just going to be a matter of, can he avoid foul trouble? Can he, keep guys in front of him so that, the rebounding and stuff like that, it's going to be so hard for this team anyway, Jay. And if you have someone who's getting blown by on top of that, that breaks down the interior defense.
Yeah, that's the big question for me is like, can he stay out on the court long enough to be next to like Peyton Pritchard and Derek White? Can he defend at a high enough level that trio works?
Yeah.
And I don't know if
that's tough. I'm not sure.
I don't know if that So I guess we'll see more though. Yeah, it's been a fascinating preseason because there's so much new. They have radically changed their style. I think Joe has brought a totally different energy to it than he did before. And it's natural. Like you have a ton of new guys, but the way he's treating the preseason, yanking guys and putting them back in and playing 12, 13 guys, it's not what we're used to from Joe Mazzulla. It's new, and he wants them to kind of learn how to win different ways. Jalen's pretty funny talking about it. He's like, yeah, we have no choice. Like, we just have to play harder than guys. Like, we used to be talented guys. We're not
look around here.
Look at these motherfuckers, guys.
But even though, like, I'm fascinated, like with Jalen, like what is Joe gonna be able to demand of guys like Jalen and Derek that are carrying the offense on like the other end of like with the rebounding stuff?
Well, that was the fun part about Joe going wild about rebounding. He lit into Jalen too.
Yeah.
Jalen right before halftime gave one up, and Joe was furious because Jalen just totally neglected to box out Larry Nance, and Joe just screamed from the sideline, talked to him about it at halftime while they were walking in the locker room, and then benched him in the third quarter. And that to me is like, okay, he means business. He's not just benching the Luka Garzas, the even the Anthony Simon. And like, Simons is far more established than Luka Garza. Yeah, Hauser. He's not just he benched Jaylen Brown. He benched his all-star for not defensive rebounding in a preseason game. They were up 30. Legitimately 30. And you have to have buy-in to get away with that. Like, you have to have Jalen on board, and you have to let Jalen know. And Jalen seems totally on board with this, that their only way to real success this year is to play harder and play faster and be more energetic than anybody else. And if they slip on that stuff, it ain't going to work. And Jalen, he seems as bought into that as anybody. So what's he going to do when Joe pulls him out of the game? If he fights back, you're setting the worst example, because you know that everybody that this team has to play with more tenacity than ever before, with a different style than they have in the last several years. He thinks it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be fun. I'm ready for the regular season. I wish the final preseason game was like a dry run, like they actually played real NBA players, and who knows, maybe they will, but I'm not counting on it. But I think it's going to be fascinating to see how this group looks once the regular season comes, once you're playing real players, once everybody has a game plan, once teams are like just abandoning Josh Minot at the perimeter. What happens then? How do you counter that when guys are really prepared for what you do best, what you can't do, and they're honed in on all the little details?
So we're gonna find out where these guys are made of. Are they preseason bright spots or something more than that? And I think a lot of them has shown that, like, I think this preseason, Jay, has gone almost as well as you could hope for a lot of these, like the fringe guys. I feel like most of the roster, like everyone's kind of had their moments so far in these spots. Again, whether that means anything, we don't know. But like, it's signs of being like, all right, this at the least will be fun to watch. And you have Jalen, like you said, out there saying like, oh, we could use a guy like this for the last couple of years. Like that's did not expect that type of comment talking about a championship roster, but he's right.
100% right. That was like the only thing they needed over the last few years was a great athlete who could, be in the right spot defensively, create chaos, turn defense into offense. O'Shea Brissett gave them some of that, but like not totally at the level, not quite a good enough level that he was able to force his way onto the court in that rotation. And who knows, maybe Josh might not have been able to do it either. But he's looked damn good so far. Celtics have looked pretty good for the most part of preseason, except when they were collapsing with their 15th through 20th guys on the court against Toronto. That was an interesting collapse. But otherwise, they've looked pretty good. We'll be here every day. We look fucking great. We look fucking great, B-Rob. And we're ready. We're ready for it to get the regular season to come back. We're ready
8 days away.
Man, it's coming quick. Coming quick. Chaotic structure, baby. That's what we do. That's what the Celtics do. We'll see you soon.
Still particle, still particle. The Boston Celtics still particle, still particle. Oh yeah.
Slow down from eating and drinking and all that wild stuff.